Welcome back to the broadcast, and I'm gonna tell you, chat, you're really lucky that we mute our microphones on the pauses, because it's just painful. It's just painful. But welcome back to the show. We are one game away if Dusty can take it all in a 3-1 versus Nativz, or maybe Nativz will be able to pull it off now that they decided to jump back into the blue side for the fourth game of the night. Everybody was taking into account, oh, this should be a 3-0, quite easy. It doesn't seem like that, but you also need to see the champion select to understand how Nativz are going to approach this one, which is why I'm going to look into you guys, Edagon and John Donjay. Let's start with you, Edagon. What do you believe is going to be the approach for Nativz? Because I do believe you told me as easy as you can to execute, so you can,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I want different picks for the mid lane. I didn't like how they drafted Vex for really. It just doesn't seem like a
okay.
really pick. You know what I mean? Like I want more comfort in that regard.
Mhm.
Something I noticed in group stage was yes, they can draft all these crazy flex picks. Yes, they have this diversity, but some picks he was way more uncomfortable on than others. It was very obvious, right? When he picked Aatrox, it wasn't like his Kiana, it's very obviously. So go back to what you actually play. Like try and think of a new gimmick. I don't like Ziggs. Ziggs is maybe that's just me, maybe that's noob take, but it never works out in my opinion. New gimmick. See what's
Mhm.
next. To take away.
So Serafin and Sona, let's see if they're open. Donjek, it seems like that is the approach from Eragon. Do you have a different sort of opinion, or no? Do
No,
you totally
actually, for the
agree?
first time in my life, I actually agree with Eragon. I think he's got a fair point. So don't look so surprised, mate. We've got to create natural. Uh, what's the opposite of harmony?
Chaos.
Chaos.
Discordance. Okay.
Discordance. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Be using that one. Um, But yeah, no, I agree with Aragon. I think new gimmick needs to be supplied. I don't massively agree with the Ziggs. I think an early pick in
Mhm.
terms of, you can alleviate some of the concerns of dives somewhat, but also if you use your W the wrong way, it's a bit difficult. You can kind of play to counter siege comp. You can play a siege comp, but they didn't really pivot towards necessarily a theme. One of the big problems with me, and I think a lot of it comes from the newly alighted information that I got 2 days ago, that they are drafting for themselves, which is like
Yeah.
giving, how do I say this? It's like giving primates the nuclear codes. Giving players the ability to draft is not a good idea ever. I know I made a joke about it before, but don't do it, guys. If you've ever got a decision to be making. But yeah, I think
Analysis.
one of the concurrent themes for me is a lack of theme,
Mhm.
which is a problem for me. I think if they get it, if they can kind of sling together something that's kind of a hapdashery of somewhat of a semblance of sense, it will go well for them. But a lot of the time, they're just picking and then they're not really building upon the themes that they're putting across.
The drafts, though, are the same right now, but Natives understanding that Yasuo Diana combo with Linkus is not an easy one to deal with, so
Mm-hmm.
they're going to take that away. I still know they can pull off other combos. I've seen him back when pulling the Yone, even with the Diana. It's still something. It's a different sort of knockup, but it
Lilia
still
and Yone
happens.
are kind of a duo that I'd actually like to see them maybe pull out in
Nice.
this game for me because I know Lilia is a champion that Linksys can play, doesn't really, but like for me, Snill is one of those players in NLC that plays a lot of this champion. I know there's a constant back and forth between him and Scroody on who the best official Lilia is. Scroody obviously had quite a few impressive performances on Singularity and did one on that champ. Yeah, I feel like that really benefits you in a way. I saw that Yone was a kind of a contested pick between a lot of the games between E-Roll and Rilla. I think one of the number one pairings for that would
Graves.
be that champion. But yeah.
Graves is open
Graves
for Snake
Yumi
then.
handshake. So this is going to be really interesting, right? Like, what are you going to pair it off with Yumi? Are you going to take that Sejuani again? Are you going to handshake the Sej into the Graves? What picks are you going to pick to potentially work with that? Are you going to go Akali? Silas? These sorts of high tier picks that have gotten through the draft because there's the Sejuani, right? And now you need melees, right? So that's why I'm saying Silas, all these Yones, Silas, Yasuo is actually banned. They take it away because they don't want that ease of execution one more time. And I really agree with it, right? I really agree with it. So what they're going to probably pick is something that does get countered by the LeBlanc. I'm thinking potentially something like the Silas. I'm just going back to Silas. Every time I think of this, I'm thinking Silas. So probably that.
Interesting. Maybe they're trying to see if they get more of those ultimates available. But you already have the Nami, so I do think you have to take away the Lucian afterwards, and then you have to hope for the second rotation of picks.
I think it's a bit risky to take away the Lucian because then you just
No,
end
no,
up
I'm
with.
saying for Dusty, they have to pick the Lucian to finish this up, which allows
Oh, of
Natives to
course.
take like the Silas
Yeah,
and the
yeah, yeah.
Yumi.
So I think now it's the Silas Yumi. Clocks can definitely play Yumi, right? And then we're going on about this like pairing of Yumi plus Silas, which I think is one of the best in the game, right? I don't.
That's not as big as a compliment as you think it is. That you say you can play Yumi.
Yeah, okay. Okay, true. This is more of like an overarching, he can play everything. Okay, I hate it. Everything's gone wrong. No! Okay.
Pain 1 to 100.
Do you think
Tell
maybe
me,
the logic is here, for example? I know in a lot of the lanes at Worlds, when you see things like Lucian Nami, it's one of the pitfalls that Rogue ran into in their quarterfinal series, is you a lot of the time can get locked out of lane by your inability to push. Do you think that potentially there's a chance here that Nativz are going to pivot into something like an Aphelios on 4 to counteract the Lucian Nami?
Look, maybe I'm getting like blinded by how much broken I think Yumi is. Nautilus is objectively good into Nami, right? Like, we already discussed this in the last Champ Select. So maybe, you go Nautilus plus whatever kill lane you want, because every time you hook that Nami, she dies, right? And that way you can secure prior that way, especially if there's some jungle detention from Snille, right? Which Snille has been showing this series that he's willing to come down bot lane early on just to help out, right? He's not an early ganking jungler this game, like the Viego he's been on twice, where he's done that, so maybe he doesn't do that as much, but who knows, right? So it does look like they're actually going to ban out those kill lanes, which I was saying, like the second Nami gets hooked, you jump on them. So they're banning out the Kalista, maybe they're banning the Kai'Sa out as well.
Oh, it's interesting because for the first time in the cities, we don't see the Caitlyn being banned, and she goes through. Nobody's going to approach that Caitlyn. Even versus Illusion, for instance, and you have so much range versus Illusion. That would be an interesting bully. And since we're looking for Yoppa as the lane to get priority to Nativz, I just find it interesting taking Ziggs away. Wow.
They did win bot lane. So maybe
it is a reality. It is a reality. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would offer a nice split of damage, right? Then you go an AD top laner, because it does look like they're banning Jax, which invites the Camille pick, or allows you to pick Camille, right? I also personally don't like the Jax-Renekton matchup. A lot of people ban Jax to pick Renekton because you get jungle attention, but honestly, it doesn't feel very good. So maybe they're trying to pick Renekton here as well. Who knows? Maybe they're inviting the Camille to counter it. We'll see.
It's Karthus time.
It's Karthus time.
Yeah.
It's some time. I don't think it's Karthus, but it's
I don't think
time.
it's the time, mate. They need AD. And they also need melees with Sejuani. So Zed or Yone.
Backland?
That's interesting.
Okay, that's the thing. Yeah, the production brought in, and we need to highlight these because the production is not heard on the broadcast. So this could be a Zed jungle. This could still be a flex. Sejuani is still a flex. So she's just flexing non-stop, trying to pull the trigger on the enemy. Talking about trigger, we have the devil trigger on the Samira and Renekton. A lot of explosive.
I told you.
If this happens, wow.
Hey, Giga Brain.
You all laughed at me. Like, I think a lot of you think I'm some sort of ecclesiastical clown on this show. I might be here to parade the tricks. It's a well-known fact. It's a well-known fact. Anyone that's ever studied Shakespeare, the jester, the clown, is always the most clever character in the show.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yes! Yes! Get out of here! Aragon, it's only the two of us before we toss it. Oh, tell me, who do you think is going to win?
Okay, so I think Dusty are going to win because they're Dusty. But judging from draft only, you have a lot of like both sides of the map for the side of Nativz need a lot of resources. Okay, you can leave Renekton to scale up against the Sejuani and naturally win, but it isn't really what you're going to want to do. So what I'm seeing is prior lane top side, so Graves can invade there. I'm seeing a top side who needs a lot of attention. I'm also seeing a bot side who needs a lot of attention. They actually locked it.
Oh, I left when I saw Kindred.
I thought it was Kindred as well.
I'm a genius.
You've
done all this prep. Just to...
Wait, you hear that one? You hear that one? Well, let's toss it to the casters as we have Einstein on the cast on Jake. Jay really in trouble. Save me.
I love it. He did smoke you guys in the drum though. He said Karthus. We get Karthus. Trouble, what do you make of this pick?
I think, okay, so I was asking back last season, actually, before the durability patch, I was like, you know what I've missed really in the scene? I've missed Karthus. And I was, oh, not Karthus, sorry, Zed. Because you remember like the good old plays with Zed, with Faker, just like you can make so many cool like plays with champions like Zed, assassins in general, like Kha'Zix's, LeBlanc's, all that. And I was like, what will it take for a champion like Zed to come back into the meta? And a lot of mid lane players from the LEC told me, well, he's very counterable by things like Hourglass, by very tanky items. Inside lane, he usually gets bullied by a lot of the champions like the Fioras, the Camille's, the Aatrox right now later on. Zed gets bullied by them. They don't die. He doesn't one-shot them. But you know what does? After he's popped his ult, a Karthus ult on top of that. So a lot of them told me that you can very well pair it up with something like the Karthus, and you use the Karthus as the finisher after the Hourglass or any defensive has been used. So we'll see now how Dusty are going to choose to use that, because Lincers is a farming jungler. He is on a farming jungler. And also Snille is on a farming jungler. But the difference right here is that Graves does like to sneak into your jungle. He does like to take things away from you. So the more you slow down Lincers into getting into that late game, the better it will be for Nativz. So I think it's all onto Renekton, onto Relay, onto that Sylas to actually get that pressure on their Graves to try and invade the jungle.
You said, let's get into the late game. Let's get into this game. Obviously, let's shout out our sponsor there. Have a break, have a Kit Kat, get a little snack, maybe sort yourselves out, because this could be going for a little bit of a longer game. Obviously, as you said, 2 farming junglers does mean maybe not the greatest of early game pressure from either side. And Lincers has been looking pretty strong all around. I'm interested to see this Zed, though. Obviously, a lot of eyes are on this, but let's not forget the other side of the map. We have a Samira and a Nautilus. Very aggressive bot lane. The key for Nativz when they have picked up wins has been that bot pressure.
But the key to that bot lane is once you're in, you're in. There's no way out. Once Samira has gone in, she's got the S tier on her class right there. Oh,
Backlund, goodbye. First blood. Samira, you said when you're in, so you're either going to get the win or you'll be in the bin. And right now, Nativz picking up a dub.
this is terrible. That means that if Lincers does not leave the chickens and go straight to blue buff right after, he's gonna stay without a blue buff for the entirety of early game. So what's gonna happen right here is Snille should take that blue buff, sprint it all the way to his side to take his own blue buff on the other side, which means Lincers stays without this buff available to him. He's gonna take that level 2.
Oh, Lundorf! Oh! Covers! He lives with a slither of HP. No ignite for Lundorf means he can't pick up the kill, but the pressure is there. And Lincers, as you said, does not have his blue. He has lost that buff and will be clearing the jungle without it, which may not be the worst of things to ever happen due to the fact that you do get a lot of mana regen in the jungle, but still doesn't feel the best.
Yeah, it doesn't feel the best because already you've got less than 50% off your mana and you still have 3 camps to clear on your Karthus, including that red buff. If you look at the mana pool right now, it's extremely low, about 10% for the Karthus. You need to pull in your Zed with you just to make sure that you haven't been invaded bot lane.
Oh, here we go. Yoppa once again going in. They are going to drop the exhaust on top of him, so less damage. But then Fox, they going pretty low. Clock, so not able to get on top of that Lucian and finish off the kill. But once again, Nativz have come out of the map swinging. They get the kill in the top side as well. Renekton taking down the second one. Cerberus is gone. And here comes Delay, as you said. They're looking for more. They want this smoke. They're trying to say, we're Nativz. We ain't no joke. They're going forwards. Then Fox going to try and get out. He does flash away. And once again, the story is being told of Nativz early game pressure, giving them leads.
4 summoners blown in that bot lane. Lundorf gets the kill on the top side, but he's under danger because Lincers is up there and there's no flash on the crocodile.
Oh, they're looking for the whip. Doesn't manage to land the second part, but the stun could still be coming through. Lay Waste isn't going to connect, but it doesn't matter. Kerber's going to be able to pick up that kill. They do trade one back in this hectic early game, and it's not done just yet. Backlund now on the run. Snille in his lane with the relay, but they're not going to be able to get enough damage down onto this Zed. Backlund are able to get away.
Holy moly, there is so much action happening in these early stages of the game. 2 farming junglers, but not necessarily any of them farming in their jungle. You see that actually Lincers, throughout all of these chaos, he's managed to pull ahead 16 CS versus 13, but there's a 1v1, there's a 1v1.
Backlund is going low relay. Woo! Really trying to put the pressure. This game so far is a gift when watching in the present, but I do believe we're going to a flashback in the past.
Let's see which one of them all plays it's going to be. It's going to be the top lane one. Right here, Kerberos overextends. He's only level 2. No flash, of course, on the Sejuani because he's playing Teleport Ignite. Very nice punish right there from Lundorf. And I'm gonna give it to him. He's, oh my god, aren't you lucky that chain did not connect? Linces is around though.
Oh, looking for the late waves. Misses one, gets the second. Will get that Dark Harvest stack and will happily walk away. So Relay, as you said, I don't know if that connection would have been a good thing. It looked a little bit doomed, to be honest. So blessings that it didn't land. But talking about things that want to land, Clocks definitely wants to land his own hooks to give Yoppa that in. They're not going to be able to get it just yet. And now the pressure coming out from this Nami Lucian is going to be pretty high. Are you expecting Snille on this Graves to kind of keep ganking that bot lane like he has earlier? Or are you expecting the tempo to slow down a little bit and go back into farming?
I don't know what you mean about top bot lane. He's been bot, he's been mid, he's been top, he's been in enemy jungle, he's been in my fridge. This guy is literally everywhere on that Graves. But the thing is, if Linces manages to stay even in farm with the Graves, it's a Giga W for the Karthus. This champion is absolutely disgusting in the late game. The second he presses the Requiem, a lot of HP bars fall low, which means you don't necessarily get to contest a lot of these neutral objectives. But you said it, Snille loves that bot lane. Here we go again.
Here we go again, and they're going straight in. Instead, going to be able to stay alive. Then Voxnay able to push them back as Lince is also joining this fight, laying waste to the side of Nativz. And they almost get Yoppa, but they're going to be able to finish them off. Clocks will be the lone, well, I was going to say survivor. He is going to die. He will be the last man standing for them. He goes down in the duty of battle, and it's going to be Dusty that pick up the kill on this bot side, and they have turned the game around a little bit more into their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing right here is that Clocks had to give up his life so he can save Yoppa and Snille. Slowing down the Karthus, rooting him in place with the passive was so important right there. But look at all of that CS and gold and experience that has been lost underneath his tower. And Terra Plating going over to Dusty as well, and 400 gold in the lead right now for the NLC Summer Champions. Pretty good early game. Again, if Karthus can keep up with the farm of Graves, you're more than happy to take that trade. You want to keep your Karthus away from any type of combat and just farm up. But right here, Lundorf is looking for blood. I mean, he's been doing pretty well on that Renekton. 20 CS up, takes the Scuttle Crab away from Kerberos. He's getting that Renekton accelerated in that mid game. Let's see how Nativz are going to choose to use that, because in about a minute and 15 seconds, that Rift Roll is going to pop on the top side of the map, and you can very easily use your Renekton and his combat abilities over there.
Yeah, we also see Relay has taken away the death mark there, could use it himself. Feels like it's going to give us a flashback to that Faker replay, but we'll see how that one does turn out as the team is ready to rumble. Obviously, it's very mobile, so going to try and get away. There's the death mark from Silas, looking to get the stun, doesn't manage to land it, and Backman's able to get away. The Requiem is coming down, like you said, the death mark combo, but it's not going to land, and it's not going to kill them off, as now Backman taken down by the Nautilus.
How many shadows? Yes, was the answer in that mid lane fight. Oh my god, the auto attack from the minion almost takes down Snille as well. But that was the best possible outcome for Buckland, honestly. He burns his summoners. Yes, he ends up going down. Yes. Does he keep 4 members busy in the mid lane? Yes, he does. Does he end up going down to the best possible scenario champion in the enemy team? Yes, he does. It is the support taking the kill away in that particular instance. And look at the huge wave stacking in that bot lane because Clocks wasn't there to defend that bot side of the map. And bot is getting died.
Oh, and they're going forward. Good block there from Yoppa, able to keep himself away from the bubble. But then Voxnay dropping so much damage. It will be a 1-for-1. Nami and the Nautilus both taking the kills there. Support saying, look, I'm the carry now.
Yeah, and Clocks might find himself in a 1 versus 2. You don't want that, but Snille is there. Oh!
In trouble, straight into the path of Snille, gets taken down, and here comes Ray looking for Linces. He is going to be able to find him, and goodbye to the Karthus. No way of picking up anything, but maybe he can steal away this camp. He's decided not to go for it, and it's going to be a nice rotation there from Nativz mid and jungle.
But again, Yoppa is losing so much. He's walking into a mid lane where Buckland's ult is almost back up and available with no flash, no cleanse, no level 6. It's so dangerous to even walk up to take that minion wave right here. 58 CS for Den Voxnay, 38 for Yoppa. And okay, he's ahead in gold. Fair enough, because he has the kill and 2 assists, but this is like very dangerous stuff. A level 580 carry walking up to Zed in the mid lane. He's been extremely deprived off of experience and gold due to the continuously. I don't know why I keep mixing up competitively with continuously. But anyway, due to continuously that bot lane getting ganked by literally everyone. So we're going to get to see that replay yet again towards that bot side of the map. And again, It was a product of 4 members of Nativz going towards that mid lane, trying to kill backland. Means that the bot lane of Dusty got to stack a wave, they got to stack it under the tower pretty fast, and they ended up diving 3 versus 2. Best case scenario, you trade 1-for-1 right here, and then when Clocks chooses to continue that, Linkus and Stend actually play this underneath the tower, and Stend right here, a little bit of an oopsie, takes aggro underneath the tower, and Snille together with Rilla end up finishing the deal.
Yeah, and it's just a real nice rotation there from Ready to come from base straight to that bot lane. Obviously, good positioning for the Graves, and a little bit unlucky there for Stend flashing straight into harm's way, but Clock's going to try and get the knock up there. We are going to see the Requiem come down as well. That was stolen by the Silas. A little bit of damage across the map is going to be dealt, but 2 ultimates used there for not really much gain from the side of Nativz.
Yep, and I'm going to say, I'm pretty disappointed on Lintus for not having the first strike. To bank in some gold every time he presses ult, but right here I think it's very impressive what Lintus has managed to do. Honestly, losing your blue buff on the very first clear hurts the champion so incredibly much. Not only has he managed to catch up, but he's actually ahead about 2 camps onto this Karthus. He's managed to gank a bunch of lanes, and now he's ganking yet another one. Lundorf has the ult, he has the flash, can he get a kill here?
Ooh, Dominus going to be used. A lot of damage is going down. Goes straight aggressive onto Lintus, though. Will it be enough? He's so scary. Manages to pick up the kill. It's just dodging the lane waste. Will fall down finally, but a 1-for-1 in a 2v1 is what you want to see if you're Lundorf.
I would say it's not even worth at this point. Yes, a 1-for-1, trading 1-for-1 when you're in a 1 versus 2 is worth, but another kill goes to the Karthus. Leandris completed for the Karthus. The more the clock ticks right here, you're incredibly bad on time if you are Nativz. You don't have much of that wave left. You're literally diving with no wave, Nativz!
Talking about the wave, the tidal wave is going to be used, but they're going to go straight in. Yoppa able to spin to win, looking for the kill, wasn't able to get it there. Almost finding the Nami. They killed off the Lucian though, but it is a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1. You have no wave to take the initial shot. So when you dive in without a wave, that means you're taking tower damage even before you start hitting the champion. So Yoppa ends up losing out again. He's been constantly a lot of CS down, Tudor Voxney experience, and the items are going to start coming in from the side of Dusty, and the only problem is that Yoppa's going to have to start itemizing for some MR. He's going to need to have that Mold Mortius sooner or later to go versus that Karthus. And right here, he's going to need to itemize and prioritize his AD damage items first before he goes towards that Mold Mortius. So falling further behind is not going to be useful at all.
It does feel like Kerberos, after those plays, is maybe starting to get a little bit more back into this game, able to trade pretty evenly with the Renekton at the moment. But here comes plays after plays after plays. They're not done just yet. Clocks, looking for the hook, but doesn't manage to land it onto Stend.
Pretty good stuff right there. It does ban the flash from Voxney though, but you can see how every single time we see a movement from Nativz is a collective effort, I want to say. It's 4 members on the map trying to gank onto somebody from the side of Dusty, but Dusty is so quick to pull the trigger on the map to take neutral objectives on the other side. That was 2 tower platings that just went down. Linces cashed in on more gold, and observers, can we see a little bit the difference between the Graves and the Karthus in terms of gold? There you go, almost about 600 to 700 gold. Clocks.
Ooh, it could be more now as Lynx is trying to get onto Clocks. They're chasing them down, backland over the wall.
Wait a
not
second.
able to get into range. Again, what is happening with this top lane, man? I swear.
I'm just gonna
every time.
I'm just gonna say, Rilla put his hand on that one. He had something to say for that one. It wasn't the solo bolo, Zerio.
Okay,
It wasn't.
okay. We'll get a replay soon for 1 minute because Relay is going to go aggressive onto backland. They're going to have a 1-for-1, but no trading going to be done just yet. As now on this bot side, they're putting pressure onto this tower. Yoppa Clock's trying to hold it down, but how long can they hold on for is the question. The waves are being taken, they are being pushed in, and also Relay needs to be careful of this mid tower too. They're losing a lot of pressure in towers, but First Brick is going to go over to Nativz in the top side.
God.
They will force them away from this bot lane tower. This should be the bot lane tier 1 going down for Dusty.
Oh, and Requiem is not quite up yet for Linces to actually cash in on that kill on the Nautilus. Very unlucky right there for Dusty. They end up taking the tower no matter what. And Kerberos, I think he ends up walking, he ends up walking into Fog of War. He doesn't know where Relay is. Well, now he does. Really nice pick up on the Sejuani ult. Kerberos does not even get to move. Lundorf ends up cashing in on yet another one. And honestly, if you're looking to kill that Karthus and put him into his passive as fast as possible so he does as least damage as possible throughout a fight, I think you're looking at this Renekton and how fast you can one-shot that Karthus. By looking at Karthus' inventory, there's a stopwatch right there, and Hourglass is going to come through as well. It's going to be really difficult to actually one-shot that Karthus with the additional flash from the summoner spells as well. So Nativz have a really difficult task, honestly, on their hands. Everfrost for Realist, straight into stopwatch, an extremely defensive build right here. And also, it's very clever draft-wise from Dusty. Hold on, Kerberos.
Okay, Yopa going to be found out there by Kerberos. Gets the the Glacial Prison down. But Yopa able to get away, a nice little dash, gets him out to safety. Is Invox going to be able to take down this tower regardless of clocks being there or not?
Yeah, I was just saying about how I feel like Karthus is very clever being picked into a team that is completely and utterly like full AD. You've got a Zed and you've got a Lucian. The only AD damage coming through is going to be from the Karthus. I was going to miss right there for stand, which means Nativz get to see another day on the Rift. But yeah, Lincus is the only AP damage dealer, which means that if you choose to go towards an AP atomization, you're going to be taking massive amounts of damage from the Zed and the Lucian, who are pretty much burst champions. Or if you go on the other way around and itemize towards the AD champions, you're going to take a big chunk of your HP every time Lincus presses this Requiem.
Yeah, and also the lay waste really does stack up into that later game. It can absolutely obliterate. Obviously, we already saw them play the Karthus. This is another isolation type champion. If he catches you on your own, woo! You do not want to beat that guy, but we are going to see the dragon going down there. Lincus is going to be able to pick that one up for free, and it's 1-to-1 on Drakes. And it has pretty much been the pattern of these games. I think that basically Nativz have taken every single first Drake, but Dusty have always been able to contest, except for in game 2, which could be causing problems as right now, really. Going to be stepping forward. Lincus is in the area, though, so would be able to defend Kerberos, but they are just going to walk away from that jungle. And right now, Nativz, they had a lot of tempo in the early game, but it does feel like Dusty have really slowed them down. Is it a little bit worrying as we do move into this mid stage that Lincus is still able to keep farming, keep scaling, and is becoming a bit of a threat?
Yeah, and honestly, again, big props. Hold on.
Although, hold on one second. Lincus is just going to walk straight into the Nautilus. He's going to stasis out the Requiem and the collateral damage. But in goes the Infernal Trigger. They pick up the kill onto the Karthus. Although Lincus dropping the Requiem of his own. Boom! One goes down. Lundorf also super low now, and so is Clogs. Any little bit of damage will end his life, but hooks away, gets a bit of distance. There's the whip, and it's going to take him down. Stille now trying to run for the tower, but you have no power here. Really trying to turn this one around. Will get the slow from that proc, but it's not good enough. And they turn around. Away, the silence has gone down, and they will pick up an ace. Dusty are pushing the side of Nativz out of the way to move on to the next tournament if nothing changes from now.
Oh god, the butterfly effect right there for Nativz. What an unfortunate chain of events. See the pants you wanted, chain?
Yeah. I like it.
All right, so we started with Lincus. Literally face checking. He's trying to walk through the ramp. No good things happen when you walk through the ramp, especially when you're a carry that's extremely immobile. Yada yada yada. We've said this again, but there's 3 members with extremely low HP bars. Clocks get saved by his shield momentarily, and Leandris just about doesn't kill him. He leaves him on about 1 HP, literally a pixel of HP, but really nice right there from Kerberos. Gets the movement speed from the Nami E and ends up finishing off Nautilus. Now, Snilla, of course, again, the E goes onto the Sejuani. That was W before, but see the chain of events right here from Ridley.
I like it, Picasso.
He's very low HP targets, wants it, he wants it. He doesn't get it. He ends up getting bubbled, and there's way too much burst because Buckland is also around. As he was hiding into the wolf pit.
Oh, but we're back in it! Buckland in trouble! He's able to get away. So much movement, and they've already picked up the Samira. Now, really joining onto the back of this fight, looking for the Envox. They gets a lot of damage down. Does have the cunning to use as well. Will drop that one down, looking for Buckland, but not going to be able to find it. And it ends up being a 1-for-1 in this mid lane trade. Kerberos happily just pushing on the top side, but that Herald is dropped mid. They are looking for the tier 1. Will they be able to take it? Lincus obviously does do quite a bit of damage, and now gets hooked in. Could be in trouble. Knock up for the depth charge. The tower has taken down the Nautilus with a bit of damage from Lincus, but they will be able to go 1-for-1. They're now walking away, although it is not going to be a second charge from the Herald. And here comes Kerberos. As you said, they could now be in big trouble here, but TP's coming in will potentially ward them away, and they are going to go on the aggressive themselves. Kerberos able to jump away, but a good land on that abscond comes back, and it is going to be Silas jumping straight onto the Sejuani. They're going to have the damage to take them down, and there is no response from the rest of Dusty.
I'm just gonna say right here that if Dusty keeps overextending like this, keeps getting punished like this, the Sellers will come online, the Samira will come online, the Graves is already online. I feel like Lundorf has been using this Renekton to breed that early to mid-game gap that was created by Nativz, not necessarily shutting down this Karthus. And if they keep picking him apart, if they keep picking fights whilst that Requiem is down, they have chances of winning them. It's dead. Even in gold, and Dusty were 2 to 3k up at this point. Your Lucian has been put to the ground. The Zed has never gotten off the ground, and the only damage dealer you have right now in your team is that Karthus. So if you start itemizing for that Requiem to come through right now, as you can see, Solari already purchased. Mercs top lane for the Renekton works really well versus Sejuani as well. Stopwood's being purchased for Relay, which goes pretty well against both the Zed old and the Karthus old. So right here, Nativz are starting to get pretty, quote-unquote, tanky for the damage that Dusty are throwing against.
Indeed, we feel like, well, at least I feel like the chaos favors Nativz, right? Although hold that for 1 second, Denmark's going to be going aggressive with the culling, able to drop a bit of damage onto this team. Nothing really coming of it just yet, but both teams very much looking ready for a fight. Lundorf going in, but not being able to land onto the Zed. But there they go back in. Backlund is now in trouble. Gets taken down by the collateral damage, and stasis for really will keep him alive as Denvoxy trying to pump out damage. Goes over the Gale Force, but here comes the Requiem. Big doom and gloom onto your team, takes down one. Yopper gonna have to run away, we'll get a bit of healing, but here comes Sejuani, gets the Glacial Tomb, but back goes Relays as he throws the ultimate back in. Denvoxy though, able to close him down with the help of Stend. It's too much to handle. They'll take that, he makes kill, really turns it around 1 for 1. It's on the flip side, Yopper trying to chase down Kerberos, but the Sedge is just too tanky.
I'm just gonna say Buckland is having an absolutely miserable game because every time he dives in, he insta gets popped, but it doesn't matter because Kerberos comes back in time, then Voxnet does enough damage for the Requiem to come through and finish off a couple of people. That's 4 members dead for Nativz, which means Dusty get to secure the second dragon of the game. And again, if you don't pick off the Karthus in the very early stages, it's going to be difficult because that's that much more damage he's going to be able to deal already. 1,600 gold up on that Graves. I just want to reiterate and remind everyone here, that was a blue deprived Karthus level 1. He never got his blue buff in his first clear, and he's kept up. So really nice all from Backland right there to actually get rid of that anchor coming his way from clocks, but he ends up paying the price with his life. Very nice for Den Voxen, splitting the damage right there for the Requiem to come and take everyone low enough. Kerberos had pushed in that top lane wave, DP's back into the fight, split it in half, as you will see. 2 people will run towards the tower, while the rest of the Dusty are going to try to get rid of Relay. Very nice from Kerberos right there. I think he 1v2s the Graves onto the tower as well. There you go. Everyone dispatches off the Silas, and only Yoppa on the Samira left.
Oh, we're back in the fight once again. They're obviously dropping the culling. And I was going to say, it felt like Nativz were the ones that wanted the chaos. They were the ones that wanted the scrappy games. They were the ones that wanted these crazy fight, high-tempo plays. Whereas Dusty wanted to sit back. They wanted to farm it up. They wanted to play their own smooth style. But Dusty are stepping up. They're showing that, you know what, we can do it all. We can play fast, we can play slow. But right now, we're going to see who can get onto this Baron. And it's going to be taken by the Karthus, and so much damage ensues. They've taken out one already. Lundorf now going to have to run away as Kerberos is chasing them down. We'll be able to lock them up soon. Relay trying to get a bit of poke damage down as they do run away. As Backlund needs to be a little bit careful as the damage is going to come back. Relay now going to be going lower. Snilly. Oh my days, they take down Backlund immediately. On the flip side though, Lundorf is still on the run. Kerberos just did not have the damage to get it done. Then Voxley now sliding in, but not to these DMs. He's not going to be able to get close enough to get onto any of the members, as now Dusty is still regrouped, and Linz is causing such problems for anyone else wanting to get close into this fight.
Okay, so it's a 1-0 right here, but Dusty gets out with the Baron. The Requiem gets popped, and Snile suddenly joins the fight. He's 50% off. The flank is coming in. Relay wants more. There's not enough mana onto the Voxne. What can they do? This double TP.
Linces, though, is the key. Remember, as we point out many times in these fights, it is a 5v4, but can they get onto the cart? This is a big question. Still 8 being forced away by Kerberos, and now they've obviously dropping a huge culling. Lundorf just going to have to eat that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but now they're looking for more. Clocks jumping forward with the flash, gets the root down onto Vendoxy, but it's not going to be enough. Kerberos just holding the line, holding them still, and just keeping them away from their carries. Yoppa into the backline, though, with the Inferno Trigger, able to burn them down, but will fall himself. Stand trying to stay alive with such little help. Lundorf chasing him down as he just needs a bit of support from the team. Linces is going to come in, but they've already lost them. Voxnay, will they turn, or will they make sure that Nativz burn? We'll have to find out as Relay jumping forward. Make sure Backlund has to leave.
He's trying to run away. There's an ult now. Ooh, barely just flashes, leaves with 1 HP. Sinner's ultimate just came up onto these graves, and what an absolute fist fight this game has become. Back and forth completely, 4,000 gold in the lead for Dusty, but it doesn't look like it because every single time Nativz are looking to face them dead in the eye and take the brawl. Now, Morphma Mortius completed for Sniller, Hourglass completed for Rilla. Yopa does have his shield bot to provide him with shield. You see Solari built for Clocks as well. They do have a bunch of defensive items to keep themselves alive, but if you don't kill Linces very early on, he's gonna put down so much damage. But let's see, Lindorf, can you survive this?
Lundorf in big trouble here. Backlund with a lot of damage. Will trade pretty heavily onto the Zed, but it will not be enough. And another item on that Karthus is the ring. He's got more than 7 Shao Ariana. He's on 10. He's ready to buy that book. And he's ready to make sure that the Nativz team start to cook because the damage is so righteous, as you said. Many a time they need to be able to pick up this Karthus or they cannot fight. And here we go. Nativz dropping the culling once again. Clocks are going to take so much damage and he just has to walk away.
Gonna press the button. Is he gonna press the button? No. Nativz are going to reset right here. Linces does not have to press the Requiem because they're pushing 2 lanes at once. The Dragon is gonna come up in 37 seconds. Well, that was the Requiem, but from the other side, a stolen one. It's a gimmick, so it's not gonna do as much damage. But right here, pretty good reset. You see the entire jungle is lit up in red wards for the sort of Dusty. So whoever from Nativz walks in, they're going to be walking into very, very big trouble. Then Voxnay's job right here is to chuck somebody low enough that Linces' ult is going to finish them off. Because Backland, unfortunately, he's been shut down the entire game, so he's not able to do that. But let's see. Woo!
Linces in the front line here, very bold with his positioning there, not worried about getting picked up just yet, and once again they're forcing Nativz back. A great block does stop the Glacial Prince, but in they go back and already taken down by the Graves. Kerberos now holding the front line, but going pretty low himself, has managed to get big damage onto Clocks, and there is the Inferno Trigger spinning to win. Devoxy now in big trouble, going to have to stash away Linces, and Stand trying to stay alive. They are going to be able to walk out of this one. Still a lot of damage available because they are alive, but they're not able to find an opening to use it. The Dragon is up, so is the towers. His Requiem coming down. That's a lot of damage, but it's not going to kill anyone just yet. Devoxy trying to walk in, but needs to be careful. Yoppa able to hold off a bit of that culling, but it's not going to cut them down. Still alive. How, some may ask, but it is just the power of the B relay on the back line. Devoxy going to be in trouble. Not going to be able to land the stun, but there's the hook. Gets another one, and Stend will drop as well. 2 more for Nativz, and they claim the map for themselves.
Nice 3 dead for the sort of Dusty. 7 seconds for Kerberos, but he does have the TP if he wants to join. But Linces on the top side of the map doesn't have much balance, so he's going to stay in his jungle. That means Dragon goes over to Nativz right here. They're going to equalize Dragons, and what an absolute fist fight again of a game. Back and forth. Nativz chose to chase Linces very wisely right there, because if they didn't, Rilla would be dead to his ult. So you need to chase Linces away. That's another way that you force these Karthus to not ult. If you have the extra HP bus, you can actually perma-chase this Karthus through the jungle and just not allow him to press his button. That's exactly what they did there. Rilla got the reset, which allowed him to get that insane flank. And this is the play from the very beginning. This is where Backland goes in. I think he gets absolutely demolished, by the way. He's not having fun on that Z game. Then Kerberos is a little bit too deep. They also catch the Voxnay with a beautiful stolen Sejuani ult right there from Relay. And honestly, this man is coming alive on the sellers. Look at that. They're chasing Linces so he doesn't press his button, giving just about enough time for Relay to go back to base, reset, and TP back in for this insane flank that solidified the fight for Nativz. Really well played, honestly, by them. I'm very happy that the team is joining Division 1 of the NLC because they're looking extremely crisp here.
No, indeed. And I believe the quote is the unseen blade is the deadliest. I don't know if Nativz are going to agree right now because they've been removing Backlund from the game. He's not been seen at all.
I'm telling you, he's not having fun, man. He's not having fun. Like, your job as Backlund right now is to get somebody low enough just so Linces can press his button and then you delete them off the face of the earth and then you're playing 4v5. Yay, we win. Great. That's not happening because every time Backlund is diving in, he's just literally getting one shot from Nautilus ult. So if he doesn't have his ult to negate the Nautilus ult, he's gonna go down instantly in the chain of CC. And it's actually then Voxney's turn to try and chuck people down low enough for Linces to finish them off. But we saw what happened in this fight when then Voxney overextended, beautiful Sejuani ult stolen, and then he ends up going down too.
But the TP was crucial, right, for them to get back into this game. And talking about that, we are going to get back into this game as well. And let's just take a little bit of a stock, a little bit of breather, although we don't have them fighting. 3k gold is the lead for Dusty. Towers are 5-3 for them as well. And they are slightly down in kills, 2 dragons apiece as well. So no major objective leads right now. No, not even major gold leads right now. It's very even between these two sides.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that is extremely problematic as well, so you have the Zed in the early game. If he does pop off, then you're very scared because he starts roaming, he starts getting control of other lanes. Perfect. During that late game, you usually shove that Zed on a side lane and you have him as a pressure point on the map trying to take towers. Right here, you cannot lane with that Zed versus the Sylas or the Renekton. They will both absolutely demolish you. 3 items onto the Sylas. 3 items onto the Renekton as well. 1 level up both onto this Zed, which means Backlund cannot go be a threat on the side lane, which means one of your strategies in this particular game is out the window. So you need to actually play the 5 versus 5. You need to keep that Zed grouped up together with the team and try to bait Nativz in a situation where they don't want to be, which means walking through tight choke points into the Carthus, like this one in particular towards Baron.
Yeah, right now we are going to see Dusty go for this Baron, but they're in a good position, but I feel like there might be a little bit of a demolition coming their way as they are walking forwards, but they've already taken the Baron. They take that one away with ease, and they just walk out of this one full HP, full team. And they're also going to be able to get a bit of poke down with that Zed and a little bit from the layways of Carthus. Oh, they're actually going to force Nativz back. So now it's actually Relay that's in the awful position. He gets caught and he's just going to immediately be removed from the game. And what a play that was. What a pick could this be where they start to open up the base?
That's 40 seconds onto Relay right here. They have plenty of time to take top lane tier 2 and top lane inhibitor tower. You will see that Snilla is actually going to push the tower. I just wish he would stay mid lane, try to take that tower, because your top lane inhib and tower are completely gone. I don't think you can contest right here, but they're going to try. They have 4 members up and alive. You could have taken that mid lane tower and been back just in time to try and defend your base, because Dusty might even look to enter right here, but they're going to play textbook, take that top inhibitor tower and back off, which is why I wish Snilla... Oh, okay, never mind. Winners are gonna do it anyway, but having the threat of somebody constantly pushing that mid lane might have sent some Dusty members back.
Yeah, I thought they might go on a tower killing spree, but they only take 3, and it wasn't even for free. But they still apply that pressure. They still boost their gold in. They still claim control. Dusty are looking very strong, and Dragon is going to be coming up in 2 minutes. They've taken the top in here, which is going to give them so much pressure on that side of the map for free, allowing them to really set up for this next objective.
Yeah, but again, you're running into the same problem, right? You cannot side lane, unfortunately, your Zed, which means the rest of the team needs to basically side lane or mid lane together with the Zed. But look at the HP bar of Linces, by the way. He's supposed to be a very squishy immobile carry, and he has about like 3k HP on this Carthus right now. Yeah, exactly, 2,982. Almost about 3k HP, but Backlund has been caught in the mid lane. His health bar's going down. They're gonna let him go because they're walking into Fog of War. But the entirety of Dusty are pushing with a Baron up wave towards the bot side of the map. They've cut off any sort of roam way, and they want to fight this choke point. The TP, this is Lundorf.
Oh, the TV is going to be coming through Lundorf. It is indeed. They've taken down the tier 3 on the bot side, and they're looking for the inhib as well. They're going to be able to complete this pretty shortly. They've taken it, but there is the engage coming through onto Linces. They do go, but he has have status. Now Lundorf is going to fight on the backside with Backlund. There's the Requiem coming down. That was from the Carthus, and Relay jumping back onto Linces. Doesn't manage to finish off the kill. Was on the flip side. They're just be destroying them across the map. Nativz are not left standing for long. They have 2 members left to hold them into this series. If they go down, then it will be Dusty that wear the crown, but it's going to be one back. Relay plays the hero card. He manages to pick up one, but he's going to go into stasis. Will he be able to make it out alive? He goes down, and it's going to be Dusty that take them to town. They pick up another victory of a team fight, but do they have enough to close the game out here?
They have 2 burned up cannon waves. There's only 2 seconds for clocks, but I don't think clocks can stop the Sejuani. 10 seconds for Yopa. Can you keep this alive? Can you keep your hopes and dreams in this best of 5 alive? There's plenty of videos coming from the top.
Oh, Kerberos, they've taken down the Nexus towers, but they haven't managed to finish off the Nexus just yet. Yopa now trying to find enough damage, but he is so tanky, as you said. Kerberos going to start running away, though. The Inferno trigger is going to be used to clear up those minion waves, and they will not end the game just yet. Dusty need to finish it out. Nativz get one last chance.
Holy, you have nothing left in your base but Naked Nexus is the only thing you have. And it's going to regen slowly but surely, but that's literally all you have left. One backdoor from the Zed that has been bullied the entire freaking game, and you will end up going down. 7,000 gold in the lead currently for Dusty the City pretty comfortably. 5 items completed, including a Medjaj with 18 stacks from Linsas, and he keeps stacking. I'm losing my voice in this game. Oh my god.
It's about. I wanted to go to game 5. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want this to turn around for Nativz so we get another game, because this is a banger and a half, and I just want more. I just want more. What can I say? But we are gonna see some team fights very soon, as Dusty are setting up for their potentially last push of the game.
They do have super minions pushing from the bot and the top. Clocks has been chucked down pretty heavily.
The
Let's see what
culling,
the
and there's
Requiem
the
can do.
Requiem. It's going to be enough. They've taken them down, and in goes Kerberos, the tanky Sejuani with backline. They're going to be getting a lot of damage down onto this backline. They've taken down the Samira. Really tries to be the hero. He's gone golden, but I don't think his team is coming first, because they are just falling down. Backline will be on the receiving end of a quick move to the Nexus, to the base, as now Relay trying to run back. He is alive, but it's only him and Stille, the 2 last remaining members. Can they do enough? The Nexus is starting to be hit onto. It's a lot of damage that they have to contend with. Relay gets the ultimate. The tidal wave is used, but it's not going to be enough. He goes down, and Stille cannot hold this one out. Dusty will claim victory. They were the favorites, and they show exactly why in this final game.
Okay, that was extremely competitive. I don't think a lot of people expected one game going over to Nativz. I don't think a lot of people expected that type of fist fight in this game 4, but I think I have the right to be a little bit disappointed in Dusty for a team that ended up being the NLC Summer Champions, coming in and fist fighting like this. Yes, you're showing, you know, the new blood, be playing more aggressive, but that was not clean. Macro went out the window completely. It was a complete fist fight start to finish, and one fight goes wrong, 50-second timers, you lose your entire base, you go to game 5. Yes, Dusty went through to semifinals, but I think they need to clean up their play.
All I can say, I got one last rhyme, you know, for this one. And this game, it was a massive fist fight. To me, it was a massive delight. For Dusty fans, it was probably a bit tight, you know. They didn't want it to be like that. But they had a bit of a fright when it was 3-1. But all they could do is pick up the win and say goodnight. With that, we're going to hand it over to the analyst desk. Archeron, take us home.
Thank you, man. Trevor Lankin, a real good job throughout these series. This was a tough one to watch if you're a Nativz fan, you know, if you're a Dusty fan, or even a League of Legends fan. It was a rough one, and he has the glasses again. We need to look into this game, and we need to understand the draft affected the gameplay. Aragon, you brought in one word, which is overcomplicating.
Yeah. So I don't think they needed to draft the way they did, but props to them, they did make it work. However, I will say, what is going on with Backland? Right? They give him Zed, they give him the counter pick into the silence, they give him all this room. And he just ints, right? Not ints, but you know what I mean. Wow. It's not brilliant. So I guess the idea they had was they could side lane with the Zed and drop down the Zedol and the Karthusol on top of it, right? But it never really amounted to anything. All that ever happened was Zed just kept perma-dying and staggering his deaths whilst his team was trying to make plays. It just wasn't helpful, right? So not a big fan, but yeah, I think they could have taken the draft a different direction.
Yes, it's not only about the draft when you look into the top side, Don Jake. The fact that somehow you pulled the glasses down, but you still aren't wearing them. The fact that you're looking to the top side, and there were multiple matchups where Lundorf shouldn't be winning the way he was winning, but he was bringing that lane home, and it's really interesting versus someone like Kerberos.
Yeah, I think hats off to Natives and all their fans today. I think they can be
Yeah.
very proud of what's happened. I'd like to say, you know what? I'm someone, I do like to put a bit of bravado across. I do like there is an element of delusion in my construction, but I'd like to make a formal apology to all of Natives and their kind of cohort. I massively underrated you going into the series. I said that I still don't think you're the second strongest team in the tournament. I think that might be a little bit. But hats off to you guys. I think I massively underrated you. I said that you're relatively unproven. You proved yourself today. Well
Yeah,
played. You stepped up to the podium, swung the bat, swing and a miss a few times, but I think you took 4 very competitive games, including this last one. That second game is like a John Travolta film from the 1980s because it was a blowout. That was incredible. You actually decimated a side that took LDLC to 5 games and was almost in the EU Masters semi-finals. I think these guys can be very proud of what they've achieved today.
No, by far, this is also a way to commemorate the way they step into Division One, and they're
Yeah,
announcing to everybody, Division One is in danger. If
it's a
this
good
is what
little
we are
advent calendar.
capable, yeah, guys, be aware of what is happening on Division One on 2023 for the NLC. But that is something that we like to highlight because this game we thought, well, we're going to 5 games, obviously. But there was a specific team fight that if I don't know if our production has. There you go, I love you guys. Aragon, be the guide.
Yeah, right. So basically, it just comes off the back of a Lince's bait with stopwatch, right? Look how he buys all of these cooldowns, the Graves ulti. He brings everyone into a choke, lands this really insane Q right here. Watch this Q now, which means his ultimate actually finishes off Yoppa and chunks everyone on the screen. That was all off of a single bait from Lince's, putting his entire team on his back whilst his entire team is losing lane, like individually, right? And then it just turns into a sweep, right? They pick up kills everywhere, and then they come back from this point, winning team fight after team fight.
At the end of the day, it's still Dusty being Dusty. As Trouble said, there's a lot of things to polish as they move along, as they are now waiting on semifinals to understand who's going to be the victor from Bifrost or Riddle to take upon that one. Really, just went a little bit too close to the sun, as Don Jake said previously, with an amazing bubble. And this is another person that I would like to highlight. Stand, he's an amazing support. I don't know where he's going to be on 2023, but he's an amazing support. So there's always highlights from Dusty. They won the game today, but I still believe there's a lot to clean up. And this is why we're going to toss it to the interviews. We're going to start talking with Nativz, Lindorf, if I'm not mistaken, and then we'll toss it to Dusty. And
He's
do
probably
a
got a
wrap-up
pair of
of today.
sunglasses of his own.
I hope so. If he doesn't, I'm going to be disappointed in you, Don Jake. Tossing to a break. back. I have the pleasure to talk yet again with Lundorf. Lundorf versus Dusty, obviously not an easy matchup, but you took a game away from them. We almost took two, brought it to a 5-game series. But I want to understand, fighting versus the Summer Split champions from Division One, you guys are now in Division One. What was the expectation when you came into today?
We talked as a team that Dusty were, of course, going to be the hardest opponents, and we thought we were going into the series like we wanted to respect, and we knew like their strengths is really good, and we had a really hard time preparing for them. So going into the series, we were, of course, we were a bit scared, but we knew we at least like we wanted to try and win and give it a shot. And I think we also made them sweat a little bit for it, and we showed some signs of life throughout the series.
I don't know if
But,
it's a little bit. I think it's a lot. You made him sweat a lot, let's be honest. What happened in between game one and game two? Game one was a complicated one to watch, but game two, you guys showed up.
Well, I think game one, we usually end our first game on Nativz, and we weren't really feeling it. And then we sat down and talked and said, like, guys, like, we can fucking do this, right? They're not that good. They're good, but we are better than this. And then I think I don't know why we didn't pick Gragas. It was also open game one, but throughout the entire split, I've never lost a game. We have never lost a game of Gragas. So I think the Gragas pick and our comp was really good, and then we kind of rolled them over with our bot lane gank. I think that bot lane was really disrespectful towards our bot lane sometimes, and I think all of our players showed some really like good signs of life that we can match up against the best team in NLC.
No, by far you did that. Congratulations, regardless of what happened today. You guys showed up a lot, and if you guys went on the left side of the bracket, I do believe the final could be Nativz versus Dusty. So that is at least what I have in my mind. You performed really well this year, not only you but also your entire team. But I'm talking with you, so I'd like to know more about you. What can happen for 2023? What would be your expectation for 2023?
As for me personally?
Yeah, for you personally.
Well, right now I was already exploring options, but now all of our players, including myself, we are going into the off season. We don't really know what's about to happen. The thought of playing together has like risen, or like risen. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but we have talked about it. But yeah, we don't know what is gonna happen. And it's going to be exciting to see. But I think most of the players should be in Div 1, if not all of us.
100%.
At least my teammates, I think they're all capable of playing the Div 1. It's kind of hard to say about myself, you know. I don't want to be a jerk.
What is the most important thing you've learned through this year?
I mean, personally, I think I grew a lot as a person. We stayed together for the entire year, of course, since January. So we have been playing together for 10 months, right? And it has been a blast, and I've made some really good friends. I think also I've improved as a player, both in competitive and individually in solo queue. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Sounds good. Lundorf, best of luck for the future. We don't know what's going to happen, but I hope to see you on Division 1 regardless of what happens, man. Have a lovely one. We're going to toss it to a break before we come back with the winners interview. I'll see you soon. Wait.
What's
Wait. Nah, come on.
What's
The
up?
Voxne. What do you mean? I'm wearing the jersey and you're
Well,
not?
I have my hoodie, but actually I lost my jersey in Berlin. I lost it at the hotel the day after the final. So
This is your jersey then? They sent me your jersey? Wow. Okay, good to know.
it got left in the hotel room
Uh-huh.
by
No.
accident. I think. I don't really know. I don't remember, but I didn't have it. So I only have the hoodie now. But it's. I wish, man. I wish. But that's how it is.
Extremely disappointed though.
Yeah.
But wait, congratulations, you won 3-1 today. That was a close one. Let's be honest. That was a shaky one. Were you expecting this matchup to go the way it did?
I think yeah, they took one game of us. Like I was playing pretty poorly. I think maybe it's like maybe a bit of lack of focus. I don't know. I really like they also played well. Like um, in some sense they like knew a couple of steps more than I was expecting them to know. For example, in the game two, right? I'm like, okay, wasn't expecting them to have played the matchup as much, so I wanted to abuse them level one really hard. But they knew the matchup. Their jungler comes level two and ganks us, which was a really good play by them, and obviously set us behind for a long time. And I think that's a huge shout out to them, I guess, because they actually knew. I guess they knew more about the game and more about the map states than I was expecting them to. So yeah, shout out.
You were telling me that you didn't feel like it was a good day for you. Is there anything you can point out that happened? Because everybody was looking at it like the Voxne is not quite the Voxne today.
Yeah, I was like a bit shaky, I guess. I think just in general, like not like completely on top of my game. And then I think in the games where I could have been like, oh, Demox is popping off smurfing, like we were maybe having a bit too much fun. Like in the last game, my score wasn't the best, but like I think most team fights I was playing well until the team fights were over, and then it's like then we were all yelling like monkeys and saying stupid stuff. So so I think at that point it was a bit different, a different vibe. But yeah, for sure I didn't play that well. But I think a really horrible game in game two, and like they played well in that game as well. But I was just playing poorly. And then game two and game three, I think they had some creative pathings as well with their jungler. But at the same time, I think I was playing like considerably better. And then once team fights came, I guess we weren't as like focused on the win as we should have been, and had a bit more fun. So
If you had to give an MVP today for someone in your team that you think was the shining light, it's not like the best player, but a shining light for today, who would you pick?
I don't even know. I think we all had our rough games here today.
Okay.
But maybe Lucas. I think Lucas always performs well. I think yeah, I think he has very few like bad games. Like sometimes he has like not a pop-off game, but for example, the last game here, Backlund had a bit of a rough one. I think we all, I guess, except Lucas, pretty much had a rough game too. Um, yeah, I think shout out to Lucas.
Yeah. Tell me
Uh,
something. Okay.
what's up?
Bifrost, Riddle, whoever wins is going to play versus you. Who do you
Yeah.
think is gonna win, and who do you want? What is the team that you want to win?
I don't actually. That's a good one because I've been thinking about it as well, and I think Riddle wins just because they've played longer together. But maybe like it's a close one because I think Bifrost might be a bit better. But I think Riddle wins by like comfort and knowing like the meta more like or like they know each other better, so they know which champs to pick and to synergize and how to draft and probably how to play like certain team fights, dragon fights, gank setups and stuff. So I think that is maybe the determining factor. But I don't like. I'm not sure. I think it could go either way. So I think from now on, I even think this game was a banger. But I think the two, I guess, one or two best of fives left are gonna be really exciting, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Me too. Well, I'll end the interview right now. We'll toss it to the desk, and next time if you show up on the interview without this, I'm gonna be mad. I'm
But
gonna
I
be
don't
mad.
have it. I don't have it.
I don't know. Find the way, the boss.
Okay,
Thank you so
well,
much, man.
yeah,
Well,
thank you.
Don
See
Jake, you okay? No, you're muted, by the way. You have to unmute yourself in order to communicate with
Oh,
people.
that's my bad. Rookie mistake from me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a question for Den Voxney actually. So,
Oh no.
obviously, last time you were on the interview, Den Voxney, you were very rude to me. You didn't know who I was. I hope you know who I am now. That would be
I know
nice.
who you are. I just didn't know you're orc.
Yeah, sorry, I'm misremembering. You know, I'm a liar as well. That's the worst thing about me.
Trying to
So I
gaslight.
wanted to ask, yeah, conquer, gaslight, girl boss. That is my motto. So I know we joke about it all the time. I can tell you've had Hedon coaching today because you put on some stinkers. But one of the most, I saw a big post from Hedon recently. I wanted to know what the impact of Wave 16 at 8 minutes and 45 seconds was this game.
I think the people that don't understand it, like that's fine, but I think the point that is being made is nothing to do with this exact specific timers, but the
Yeah.
understanding of the like how the game flows and on which timers you can create certain plays.
You're meant to play
Obviously,
along with it. You're giving a PR answer right now.
no, but like I just think like obviously like you don't need to remember the whole table or whatever, but just having the general understanding of
yeah.
the map and how it evolves and when certain like power spikes and gold thresholds are reached is really important. Like when do you get level 6 in general, and on which waves can you set up plays through that, so on and so forth. When is Herald, right? When is like Drake fights usually at 5 minutes or whenever people want to fight. So
If my jungler says we need to play on wave 10, I'm full muting and playing Numa. So you know that's just me.
yeah, but that's maybe why your team is out. So
Oh! Complete violation. Nah,
Oh.
that is
okay.
illegal.
Anyway.
Nah, thank you,
let's,
Devox. Have a nice one.
He always gets me. He always gets me
Pause.
at the end.
Pause.
okay,
gets me
thank
in.
you.
We're done with the interview. We're gonna
So
we're
can you
gonna wrap
can
it
you
up
leave
for
now? You're not
today.
welcome here
Yeah,
anymore.
okay. I'm gonna go, guys. See
you
you.
later.
Have a
See you,
good one.
Devox. See you.
Best of luck. Man, that guy's becoming a real rival of mine. It's a real rivalry happening.
Who was nerd? No.
No, but in all
Okay.
seriousness, all respect to Denvox now. What a player. So,
No, he's a lovely guy. He's a lovely guy. He banters because he respects you, and that is a good one to say. Well, at the end of the day, we got it. We got the third semi-finalist. We have Dusty right now, which leaves the question of Bifrost and Riddle. We're gonna have that game, that series on Friday at the same time as we did today. You can see right now, updated. Thank you, production. GDXL will be facing Astralis Talent on the first semi-final. The second one will be between Dusty and whoever comes on top from the bottom side of the bracket. Riddle Esports versus Bifrost. If I could get fast one, who's gonna win? Just a name. I don't need any sort of don't analyze it.
Bifrost.
Give me a name. Bifrost. Don Jake.
Riddle.
There you go. Just for
Contrarian,
the just,
as always.
I said
Just
Bifrost
because-
earlier in the show as well.
That's why I asked you again. So that's
There's
this
literally
is
there's no
exactly
logic.
why.
People think there's a process that goes on in this whirling death ball of logic in my head. There's no cognitive function whatsoever. I'm barely alive. I'm approaching necrosis.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. If you guys could wrap up like final words before we toss it for the day, Don Jake, I'll give it to you first because you warmed up.
We are heading for a major financial crisis. Please make provisions.
Would you like my words to be relevant to the show, or?
Eragon, that would be lovely if possible.
Yeah, okay, no worries. I think whoever wins out of Bifrost and Riddle are getting 3-0'd. By Dusty, of course.
Okay. See? You can be toxic, Don Jake, but but be valid at the same time. But thank you so much. I don't know if I'm going to see you guys anymore during Aurora Open. We have a few days. I think it's 3 to 4 days still available. Don Jake, you're telling me that you're not going to be here for the rest of the show?
I don't think so. I think I think I'm good in mild doses. I think too much of me.
Hey,
No.
think of it through the positive. You made it longer than your team. So, Eragon, thank you so much for being here as well. We'll toss it at the Eragon. I'll see you Friday then.
Yep,
And it was
I'll be here.
lovely to be with you. I mean, I'm Team Dusty right now, so I have to be that way. Okay, I have to be that way. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Keep climbing the mountain. Choose.